For me, entrepreneurship is not accepting that the way things are is the way that they have to be, and then being motivated to go and do something about it. And so in our world, there was no digital effects industry here in South Australia. There was no real digital effects industry here in Australia, and yet we thought it was possible. We didn't think that just because there wasn't one meant that there couldn't be one. And so we went and we did it. And it came with a level of pig-headedness and tenacity, certainly in the first few years, that took us there, and also a lot of support from our friends and colleagues that we met over the years in the United States. That was how we were entrepreneurial. We just didn't believe that because it wasn't being done meant that it couldn't be done. So we'd identified an opportunity and we made it happen. And along the way, within that sort of broader entrepreneurial framework that is the company itself, we also did a number of innovations and little entrepreneurial things inside the business where we took other parts of that and we developed technologies such as CineSync, which then went out into a company called Cospective, and that company now develops that independently as a tool which sits at the very cornerstone of globally distributed filmmaking. So every major filmmaker uses that tool. And again, it wasn't something that we did just because we thought it would be cool. We did it because we needed it to exist as a business. It was a core part of enabling us to be here in South Australia and to run this business, which was the original idea. For me, innovation comes about where, and it's a bit like, innovation has to be not accepting how things are and having a reason for you to personally want to change something and then going and actually making it happen. So in our case, the innovation inside of Rising Sun has been mostly about us wanting to do a business that was working in digital computer graphics and computer animation in movies when the major market was in California. We were in Australia, and we felt that technology could enable that to be happening from Australia into a market that was in California. At the time, there was none of that. There was no industry where it was possible to work remotely. It was very clumsy at the time because this was 1995. And so the innovation that led us to create were innovations that were specifically related to working remotely from our principal market and enabling us to do the kinds of work that we wanted to do from half a world away. And so we invented a number of technologies. One was about making sure the work that we did for digital film looked as it would when it came back on a film print. The other was about improving the collaboration process between us and our clients. And so the innovations for us were all about defining tools that would enable us to work with our clients to enable what we believed was possible, but for which tools were not presently available. The business that Rising Sun Pictures in requires constant innovation, and so to be good at what you do in digital computer animation and effects, you need to be constantly driving the cutting edge, because behind you is a world of other competitors who are commoditizing what you do and making it easy. So in our world, things are novel for about 3 years, and so in order to be relevant and in order to do the best work, you have to be at the leading edge of that kind of innovation curve. Because if you're not, then you're down in the noise of it and you're being eaten by your competitors who are typically in cheaper destinations in Eastern Europe and in China and in India. So for us, innovation has to be core to what we do. We always have to be pushing the boundaries in terms of the visual results that we develop, but also we have to be pushing the boundaries in terms of our process for executing the work that we do, because if we're not improving our process, we're also being uncompetitive financially. And so innovation for us has to occur on both the visual front, and which is a part of the technology front, but also in the process front of refining and improving our systems so that we can be not only at the cutting edge visually, but we can be the most financially effective people that we can be, because we're competing against markets with significant cost advantages.